Hello, welcome to video lecture number 10 on strength of materials.
Composite bars. First, we'll try to understand what are composite bars. So, in many cases, you might have seen one material placed inside the other or one material attached with other. For example, if you look at the cables, many cables, if you see, there will be a core and there will be a skin, right? It is actually a composite member like. So outer layer is some material, maybe plastic or some other, maybe aluminum or anything. And inner material is different. It may be a steel or aluminum or some other alloy material. So there are two materials in combination, but both will take the load. If it is a cable, normally it will be subjected to tension like this. If it is a cable, they are called no compression member. They'll be under tension like this. So total load is shared by material 1 and material 2. Such members are called as composite bars. Sometimes composite bar can be prepared like this also. Side by side also you can place two materials. Maybe they are joined by means of some bolt nut or some adhesive. So they are different materials. So this is material 1, this is material 2. Similarly, in this case, this is material 1 and this is material 2. This may be subjected to axial compression. Such members are called composite bars, also called compound bar. A structural member composed of two or more elements of different materials rigidly connected together, subjected to axial loading, is termed as a compound bar. So when there are two materials, obviously there will be two Young's moduli. So let us say this material 1 has E of E1 and material 2 has Young's modulus E2. Then there is modular ratio, which is the ratio of Young's modulus of stronger material to Young's modulus of weaker material. That is called modular ratio. A steel bar of 20 mm diameter is enclosed centrally in a hollow copper tube of external diameter 40 mm and an internal diameter 25 mm. The composite bar is then subjected to an axial pull of 50 kN through rigid cover plates. If the length of each bar is equal to 200 mm, determine stress in the rod and the tube, load carried by bar and the tube. Now, as he mentions that there are two materials. One is a steel bar and other one is the hollow copper tube. And steel bar is placed inside the hollow copper tube, and at the ends they are fixed together using rigid cover plates. I will draw the sketch of a steel bar first. This is of diameter 20 mm. And this steel bar is enclosed in a hollow copper tube of external diameter 40 mm and internal diameter 25 mm. So there will be a small gap between the tube and the rod. This is how the structure is. And they are fixed together through rigid cover plates. Means cover plates will normally come at the end like this. Cover plate is just a rigid member just to hold those two members firmly. So this is called cover plate. Steel tube has outer diameter of 40 mm and it has inner diameter of 25, and this steel rod has diameter of 20. And he says the length of each bar is 200 mm, means this distance is 200 mm. Both members are of the same length, and it is subjected to axial pull, means tensile load. This load is equal to 50 kilonewton. So this is what is given. We are interested in finding the stresses in each member, rod and also the tube, and also load carried by the bar and the tube. This is a statically indeterminate structure because there are two unknowns here. You have to find out the load carried by copper tube and the load carried by the steel bar, or you can also find stresses in each. So there are two unknowns, and the equilibrium equation is only one. What is the equilibrium equation now? If PS is the load carried by steel bar, if PC is the load carried by copper tube, then PC plus PS should be equal to 50. Equilibrium equation is nothing but PC. PC is what? Load carried by copper tube plus load carried by steel tube should be equal to applied load. Applied load is 50 kilonewton. But only with this equilibrium equation, I cannot solve this. That is why it is called statically indeterminate structure. I have to use kinematic condition to solve this. For this problem, kinematic condition or displacement condition is that both the members will deform to the same extent. When you have the rigid cover plate and pull it on either side, both the members will undergo same amount of deformation. Right? That is the kinematic condition. So dl of copper should be is equal to dl of steel. Equation 1 and 2 if I use, I should be able to calculate what is the unknown.
I can also write equation 1 in terms of stress. Stress sigma is equal to P by A, or P is equal to stress into A. Right? Equation 1 can be written as sigma CAC plus sigma SAS is equal to 50 into 10 power 3. Equation 1 is in terms of force. Equation 3 is in terms of stress. AC is what? Area of cross section of the copper tube, which is pi into outer diameter square. Outer diameter is 40 minus inner diameter is 25. This is area of cross section of copper tube, which is 765.763 mm square. Similarly, I can calculate what is the cross section area of steel rod. Steel rod has a diameter of 20 mm, so I can calculate pi into 20 square by 4, 314.16 mm square. I can substitute AC and AS into equation number 3. Kinematic condition, equation 2, PL is nothing but PL by AE. PL by AE of C, copper, is equal to PL by AE of steel. This also I can write in terms of stress. P by A of copper is nothing but sigma C, and LC divided by EC is equal to P by A of steel can be written as sigma S, LS divided by ES. Length of copper tube and length of steel rod is same, so I can cancel them. EC is 100, ES is 200. So EC is 100 into 10 power 3 also you can write, and this should be equal to sigma S by ES. ES is 200 into 10 power 3. If I simplify this, sigma S is equal to 2 times sigma C. I'll call it as equation 4. Now I can plug in this value, this equation 4, into equation 3. Equation 4 in equation 3. If I substitute, what will I get? Sigma C into AC already we have calculated is 765.763 plus sigma S is 2 into sigma 3 from equation 4 into AS. AS is 314.16. That should be equal to 50 into 10 power 3. Now you see only sigma C is unknown now. So when you solve this, you get sigma C as 35.866 MPa, and plug in this sigma C value into equation 4, you will get sigma S also. Equation 4 will give you sigma S equal to 2 sigma C will be 71.732 MPa. So we have found out the stresses induced in each member. First question is stress in rod and the tube we have found out. Now we have to calculate load carried by the bar and the tube. From stress, how to find out the load, that you know. So load carried P is equal to stress into area. This will give you PC is equal to sigma C into AC. Sigma C is 35.866 and AC is 765.763. You will get 27.465 kilonewton. Similarly, PS you can calculate sigma S into AS. Sigma S is 71.723 into AS is 314.14. When you multiply them, you get 22.535 kilonewton. Now you see, out of 50 kilonewton load, copper member is sharing 27.465 kilonewton load, and steel member is taking a load of 22.535 kilonewton.
It is a problem related to civil engineering. A weight of 300 kilonewton is supported by a short concrete column of 250 mm square section. The column is reinforced with 4 steel bars of total cross-sectional area 5500 mm square. Find the stresses in steel and the concrete if ES is equal to 15 EC. Modular ratio is 15 here. If the stress in concrete must not exceed 4.5 meganewton per meter square, what area of steel is required in order that the column may support a load of 500 kilonewton? You just see it is a concrete structure of square section, means it is actually like this. You know that when there is a concrete columns, there will be steel bars also inside. Steel rods will be inserted. So there are 4 steel bars of total cross-sectional area at 5500. Normally they will be circular in cross section, so they are like this. 4 such bars. So these are steel members, and this is concrete. I have given the detailed sketch top view and front view here, and total load carried is 300 kilonewton. It is given that there are 4 steel rods, and total cross section area of all these 4 steel rods together is 5500 mm square. This is the total cross section. Square of 250 means total area is 250 by 250. So only concrete, if you want the area 250 into 250, minus 5500 will give you the concrete area. So AC is 57000 mm square. Total load carried will be equal to load carried by steel member and load carried by concrete. You can add, that is the equilibrium equation. And kinematic condition is deformation in both the members are equal. Just substitute that like the previous problem, we can solve it. LS is equal to LC. So
You will get sigma S as 15 into sigma C. If you write the equilibrium equation in terms of stresses, it will be like this. Call this as equation 2. Now you use equation 1 in equation 2 and solve it.
sigma C is obtained as 2.15
Newton per mm square. Sigma S is 15 into sigma C, so you will get a sigma S value of 32.25 Newton per mm square.
Second case, he says if the stress in the concrete must not exceed 4.5 meganewton per meter square. Meganewton per meter square is nothing but MPa, 4.5 MPa. So he is limiting the concrete stress. He is asking you what is the area of the steel member required in order to support a load of 500 kilonewton. So load is increased now. So he has given the limit for sigma C and F is given, new load. AS we have to find out. And we know the relationship between sigma C and sigma S from previous condition. Sigma S should be equal to 15 sigma C because deformation has to be equal in both. Sigma C is 4.5, sigma S has to be 15 into 4.5. So I know sigma S also.
Equation 2, equilibrium equation, becomes 500 into 10 power 3 is equal to sigma S into AS plus sigma C into 250 into 250 minus AS.
Because load shared by steel member plus concrete member should be equal to applied load. That equation can be used and only unknown is AS. We can find out what is the steel area required. That is about this problem. Now this is another type of problem where there are three parallel members which are of different materials. You can see the table. E is different for three portions. We have E values for all the three materials. They are all parallel and they are vertical. See, each member has different length and there is a weight of 80 kilonewton or platform which is kept on all the three members. And the question statement says that find the stresses in each bar if the platform remains horizontal even after loading. That is the question. So like what we did in the previous case, if this 80 kilonewton is F and if the load carried by the member 1 is F1, load carried by the member F2 is F2, load carried by the member 3 is F3, then F is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3. In terms of stress, if I write, it becomes sigma 1 into A1 and second one becomes sigma 2 into A2 and third one is sigma 3 into A3. Left hand side is 80 kilonewton. 80 into 10 power 3. So this is one of the equation and the kinematic condition is platform remains horizontal even after loading. Means even after applying 80 kilonewton load on platform to remain horizontal, deformation in 1, 2, 3 should be equal. So DL1 is equal to DL2 is equal to DL3. In terms of stress, I can write it as sigma 1 L1 by E1 is equal to sigma 2 L2 by E2 is equal to sigma 3 L3 by E3. So this is equation number 2.
If you solve equation 1 and 2, you will get the answers like this.
Sigma 1 is supposed to be 68.37. Sigma 2 is 27.335 and sigma 3 is supposed to be 17.09. These are the answers. It's a solid steel bar 500 mm long and 70 mm diameter. It is placed inside an aluminum tube having 75 mm inside diameter and 100 mm outside diameter. Aluminum cylinder is 0.15 mm longer than the steel bar. An axial load of 600 kilonewton is applied on the bar and the cylinder through rigid cover plates. Find the stresses developed in steel bar and aluminum tube. Take ES is equal to 210 gigapascal. 210 kilonewton per mm square is also gigapascal. And for aluminum it is 70. I'll try to draw a small sketch first. This is a solid steel bar. This steel bar has 500 mm length and it is placed inside an aluminum tube having 75 mm inside diameter and 100 mm outside diameter. Means so there will be a small gap. That is one thing. Second thing is aluminum cylinder is 0.15 mm longer than the steel bar. Steel bar is 500 mm. Aluminum cylinder is supposed to be 500.15 mm. I will show that aluminum cylinder is little longer than the steel bar. This is aluminum cylinder. The length is 500.15 mm. It is said that it is loaded axially. We'll assume it as compressive load, but we have to show two cover plates. We'll show one of the cover plate here and second cover plate on the bottom side. And the magnitude of the load is 600 kilonewton. So we'll write this as steel and this as aluminum. It is a hollow aluminum cylinder. Before applying the load, initially there will be a small gap of 0.15 mm because aluminum tube is 0.5 mm longer than the steel bar. A part of 600 kilonewton will be utilized by the aluminum cylinder to undergo a compressive deformation of 0.15 mm. DL is equal to PL by AE. I'll call it as P1. I have to find out P1. If I substitute deformation as 0.15, P1. Length of aluminum tube is 500.15 divided by A. A for the aluminum, you have to take, it is a hollow cross section, so it will be pi into outer diameter square. Outer diameter is 100. So 100 square minus inner diameter is 75 square by 4. This is the A into the E value for aluminum is 70 into 10 power 3. So this will give you a P1 value of 72.137 kilonewton. Applied load is 600 kilonewton. In that 72.137 kilonewton is utilized by aluminum tube initially to undergo a deformation of 0.15 mm. Now remaining load will be shared by both the members. That we have to do it as a separate case. The load applied now will be 600 minus 72. Be 527.863 kilonewton. I can call the load shared by steel member as Fs and load shared by aluminum member as Fa. For equilibrium, 527.863 should be is equal to
Fs plus Fa.
Stress in the steel member into As plus sigma aluminum into A aluminum. The aluminum tube is already compressed to some extent. Here also we can calculate what is the corresponding stress. So sigma 1 load by area 72.137 divided by pi into 100 square minus 75 square by 4. I think that will be 105. Okay, you calculate that. This is equilibrium equation now. You can call it as equation 1. So displacement condition or kinematic condition is DL in steel should be equal to DL in aluminum. Or in terms of stress, if you write sigma S LS by ES is equal to sigma A LA by EA. This is the second equation. Solve 1 and 2, we'll get the stresses. Solving we get sigma S as 105.7 MPa and sigma A will get it as 35.23 MPa. And total stress in aluminum tube will be, I'll call it as sigma TA. T stands for total, A stands for aluminum. You have to add whatever you obtain in sigma 1, that you have to add here. So it is sigma 1 plus sigma A, which will be 56.22 MPa. The problem says a steel bolt of 500 mm square cross section area passes centrally through a copper tube of 1000 mm square cross section area. The tube is 400 mm long and is closed by rigid washers which are fastened by the threads on the steel bolt. The nut is now tightened by 1/4 of a turn. Find the stress in bolt and the tube. If the pitch of the thread is 4 mm, Young's modulus of steel is given, Young's modulus of copper is given. In the sketch you can see this is the bolt and there is a washer. This is the washer one end and this is another washer on the other end. You imagine a bolt will be like this. I'll keep a washer here and I'll insert a copper tube. This is the copper tube I have inserted. So as soon as I insert the copper tube, there are no stresses in the bolt or the copper tube. You are just sliding the copper tube inside the bolt. I'll keep one more washer at the other end. I'll increase the length of the bolt. Yeah, this is the length of the bolt. Now I'll insert a nut. See, inserting a nut means I have to keep the nut on this cylindrical portion and turn it. So when I turn this nut, it goes axially like this and let us say it just touches this washer first. So once it just touches the washer, there will not be any stresses in the sleeve or the bolt. But even after touching, if you try to turn, It will try to compress the aluminum sleeve and it will try to pull the bolt out. So stresses are induced after giving some turn, after the bolt touches the washer. The nut is now tightened by 1/4 of a turn. So if you turn the nut, certain stresses are induced in copper, compressive stresses, and the bolt will be in tension. So bolt will be subjected to a load like this. Copper tube will be compressed. The pitch of the thread is given. What do you mean by pitch of the thread? Pitch is the advancement of nut for one complete revolution. So when the thread between the nut and bolts are in engagement, if you turn the nut one complete revolution, how much it moves axially, that is called pitch. Pitch is given as 4 mm here. How much turn he has given the question? So 1/4 of a turn. So what is the advancement? 1/4 into pitch. So 1 mm is the movement of the nut. So 1 mm is the total movement of the nut. But this total movement is nothing but the dl of steel portion plus dl of copper portion. See, I'll show one end of the copper tube like this. Copper tube I'm writing here. And at the center, I'll show the steel bolt portion. This is the initial position of copper tube and steel bolt. I'm just enlarging this portion and showing it here. But once you tighten the nut by 1/4 rotation, the bolt will extend like this. The bolt length is extended and copper tube will get compressed. So total movement of the nut is so much. So bolt is under tension, copper tube is under compression. That is why I have written total movement of the nut is 1 mm, which should be equal to deformation in steel bolt plus deformation in copper tube. So if this equation is clear to you, then you can easily solve this problem. If Fc is the compressive force on copper tube and Fs is the tensile force on steel bolt, then for equilibrium, Fs should be equal to Fc. Because there is no other external force. We call it as equation 2, and this is the kinematic condition, and using these two you can solve it, get the answer. You can write both in terms of stress and solve it and get the answer. Copper tube will be under a stress of 125 Newton per mm square, which is compressive, and steel bolt will be under a stress of 250, which is tensile.